Do you hesitate to give a presentation because you feel like you do not know enough about your subject, or you need to learn a lot more before you feel qualified to give your presentation? If so, then let's talk, because I was someone who doubted myself a lot, and I can speak to the mindset behind this type of thinking. If this is your first time encountering me, welcome to my channel. My name is Shalonda, and I am a public speaking coach. It is an honor for me to help entrepreneurs, people in leadership positions, small business owners, and professionals learn to transform their concerns with public speaking into confidence. One of the first important steps a person can take to overcome their concerns with public speaking is joining a community where there are other people who have the skill or are developing the skill. My YouTube channel is the perfect community for that. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because that way you'll get valuable information weekly to help you build your skill to become a confident public speaker. In this current conversation, we're talking about the concern with feeling like you're qualified to give a presentation. More specifically, we're talking about imposter syndrome. We will discuss what imposter syndrome is, 3 types of symptoms associated with imposter syndrome, especially as they are related to public speaking, and 3 simple steps you can take to overcome imposter syndrome. Be sure to like this video. That tells me the type of information I should continue to share with you so that we can all step into the power of our voices and speak boldly and with confidence. Let's go ahead and get into what we're talking about today, which is feeling qualified to share information with other people. When a person does not feel qualified to share information with other people, or when they feel like someone will perceive them to be a fraud, or when they feel like they do not know enough, those are typically signs of imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is a type of mindset that restricts a person from feeling deserving and worthy of their professional achievement. A person who experiences imposter syndrome either feels like a fraud, or they worry other people will perceive them to be a fraud. Usually a person who experiences imposter syndrome counts themselves out of opportunities they deserve, opportunities that will allow them to grow as a professional, and opportunities that will allow them to become an even more accomplished professional. The imposter syndrome mindset is a protective mechanism. It's intended to help protect a person from experiencing disappointment or from potential shame, even though the disappointment or the shame may not ever happen, and there's a greater chance for growth and development. I could speak to this type of mindset because there once was a time in my life where I was filled with self-doubt. As a matter of fact, when I first graduated from college, there was an employment opportunity I was interested in applying for, but I did not, because I did not at the time have every single qualification listed on the job announcement. I never gave myself a chance, and I counted myself out for that opportunity. A lady I graduated from college with did apply for that same employment opportunity, and guess what happened? Of course she got the employment opportunity, and I was very happy for her. I could not resist asking her, how did she overcome the barrier of not having all of the qualifications listed on the employment announcement? She said these exact words to me that I never forgot. It's not so much about what you don't have, it's about your ability to sell what you do have and what you do know. That was life-changing for me, and that's when I started to make a point to learn the types of mental messages that can restrict us from moving forward and getting things we truly deserve in life. So let's start with the first type of mindset associated with imposter syndrome as it relates to public speaking, which is called the perfectionist. The perfectionist believes they have to have every single T crossed, every single I dotted. There's no room for mistakes at all, because one mistake is detrimental to the entire presentation. At least that's what they think. Perfectionists put a lot of pressure on themselves to meet a standard that does not exist. The perfectionist type of imposter syndrome can achieve 99% success, and they will focus on that 1% that could have gone differently, or they expect it to go better, failing to celebrate the 99% of their presentation that did go well. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to attain excellence. That is attainable. But when that 1% of the performance overtakes a person and contributes to feelings of inadequacy, there's a good chance that's a sign of the perfectionist type of imposter syndrome. We'll talk about what to do to address this type of perfectionist mindset associated with imposter syndrome in a little bit. Before we do, I'd like to talk about the second type of imposter syndrome mindset. It's called the expert. The expert is different from the perfectionist because the perfectionist believes they cannot make any mistakes. The expert believes they have to know everything there is to know about their subject. If there is more for them to learn, they do not feel qualified to talk about their subject. They tend to be preoccupied with a fear that someone will ask a question they do not know the answer to. That type of mindset can contribute to their concern of feeling like a fraud. We'll talk about how to deal with the expert mindset in just a little bit, but I'd like to talk about the third type of mindset associated with the imposter syndrome, especially as it relates to public speaking. It's called the natural genius. This type of imposter syndrome mindset believes that, particularly when it comes to public speaking, public speakers are born naturally good at giving presentations. They think because it takes practice and a little more focus and dedication for them to achieve a level of success they want as a public speaker, they perceive themselves to be frauds because they don't believe they're naturally competent at public speaking, or they're comparing themselves to someone who they perceive to be naturally competent at public speaking. The messages in their mind convinces them they are missing some gene that makes them naturally good at public speaking. Because this person is convinced they don't have the innate talent to give a presentation or to be a confident public speaker, they're a fake. This can create an unjustifiable limitation for someone who genuinely has value they can add to the lives of other people. So let's talk about what to do when these kinds of mindsets occur. If you experience one of these types of mindsets, leave a comment. I'll make a more in-depth video with more specific tips to help deal with each type of mindset. For now, let's talk about 3 simple steps you can take to overcome the imposter syndrome mindsets we've discussed so far. Number 1, when it comes to the perfectionist mindset, understand there is really no such thing as perfection. Perfection is an ideal that really is not an attainable standard. Instead, excellence is attainable. Specifically, when it comes to dealing with the perfectionist mindset in association with public speaking, understand when you prepare your presentation, you practice it, and you polish it, then you can attain excellence. The preparation process is simple. Plan what you are going to say. Have 3 main topics you will talk about. This will help you to stay focused on the information that you're going to share. It reduces the amount of pressure you're putting on yourself so that you don't feel like you have to try to share everything in one presentation. And this is a simple technique for helping you to organize your information so that it's easy for your listeners to follow. Second, when it comes to feeling like you have to be the expert on a topic, I'm here to tell you, you know more than some other people. And those people want to know what you already know. Those people want to learn what you know how to do. Those people want the products, goods, and services you have to offer. If there happens to be someone who asks a question that you don't have the information for, I am going to make a follow-up video to help manage that type of concern. Although it's really simple to manage that type of situation, that's a different topic for a different conversation. Third, when it comes to the natural genius mindset associated with public speaking, thinking good public speakers are born that way, the reality is public speaking is a skill. It can be learned. The more you do it, the better you become at it. If I could sum up these 3 steps to smashing imposter syndrome, I would say this: 1, primary thing. Be committed to changing your mindset. When you prepare, practice, and polish a presentation, that takes the pressure off to be perfect. When you give yourself the credit you deserve because you already have sufficient knowledge, that helps to alleviate the concern with being the expert on a subject. Finally, when it comes to being the natural genius, realize public speaking is a skill. It is learnable. The bottom line is your voice has power, and it is time for you to own the power in your voice. It definitely starts with you giving yourself a chance. You give yourself a chance by realizing you are deserving. You are worthy. You are qualified. Someone will thank you for sharing your knowledge with them. As always, until our next conversation, make sure you do something today to help make your greatest ambition your greatest accomplishment.